So we will be revising measures of central tendency, only arithmetic mean. Okay, the rest part of it slowly, one by one concept, we will be going through once again. I want you people to concentrate well and attend these revisions also, because many of them have missed the classes before while I took these classes. So it is good if you people concentrate now and at least learn everything once again, because these questions are very very important from exam point of view, and you can easily score marks because they're easy to calculate. So let's start. And if you have any doubts in between, you can surely ask. Fine. So firstly, what is average? It is a statistical uh, statistical content which enables us to comprehend in a single effort. So it will give us one single value where we will be able to come to some conclusion regarding the data that is provided to us. So that is known as a average. So if you, it's good if you stick with this definition, Croxton and Cowden, because he has given a little elaborate definition, but it is easy also to understand. Okay, so going on further, objectives of averaging, why we have to do averaging. It will help us to come down or reduce the data from too much. Okay, the single raw data values which are given to us, from that we can reduce it to the single data. So that is one of the help of averaging. Then it will also give us a platform to compare the data. Then you can use this arithmetic mean or any sort of average for the further statistical treatment. If you now for example, we use arithmetic mean in calculation of let's say correlation. Oh, sorry, you don't have that. No, not everybody has it. Okay, you have many other yeah, thank you. So you have many other values where you will be able to calculate that further by using arithmetic mean. Okay, so that is also one of the usage. Then what are the requisites of a good average? This is asked for a 6 marks question, so it should be easy to understand, easy to compute. All the values in the observation in the question has to be considered, and it should not be affected by extreme values, and it should be strong enough to determine every value in the problem. So those are few of the points to say yes, this is a good average. Then going on further, another 2 points to add on, it should be used for further calculations, and it should have a sampling stability. Then uh, this is where we enter the actual types of central tendency measures. The first one is arithmetic mean. Under arithmetic mean we have simple mean and weighted mean, and then median and mode, which means all the three is based on averages. So this arithmetic mean, median and mode, all the three of them consider average values, and only we will be solving. So under this first one is arithmetic mean. So in arithmetic mean, before going through all this formulas, I have simplified that for you here. So first we will understand that, and then we will come back to the important problems, few of the important problems. Okay, so going on further, are you all able to see this? Can you all see this? Yes. Okay, so let us start. So first, arithmetic mean, that is x bar, this is divided into 3 parts. Okay, everywhere in every average series, the common thing is you will be solving problems under 3 different types. The first one is individual observations, then discrete series, then continuous series. Okay, so under individual observations you will have simple numbers. Okay, direct data will be given where the data is called as x. Okay, direct data will be given. Now to find arithmetic mean, you just have to add all the data. Okay, so that is why it is denoted as x1, x2, x3, and so on. How many ever number of data you have, just add all of them and divide that by number of the data. Now for example, you have subject marks. Okay, one student, student number one, subject marks. You have 7 subjects. Okay, so I write all the subject marks, that is x1, x2, x3 until x7, and I divide it by the number of subjects, that is 7. Okay, so this is one formula to find the arithmetic mean under individual series, okay, or individual observations. And this series very specifically is ungrouped in nature. Ungrouped means they will directly give you the numbers. They will not put them into any table and they will give. Okay, it's direct numbers given to us. So that will be ungrouped numbers. So x bar is equal to x1, x2, x3, and so on till xn divided by n. This is one formula. And the final, if you know, once you add all of them, you will get a value called summation n. Okay, so this symbol is called as sigma, or it is also known as summation. Okay, summation x. So the x values is already calculated. So summation x divided by number of data, which is n, again will give you arithmetic mean. And the you denote arithmetic mean by x bar. Okay, there's one line above here that is called as x bar. So that is your individual observations. Next, the second type is discrete series. Now discrete series also comes under ungrouped. Okay, because they are not very systematic in nature. They would have been put into just a table, but they are not very systematic in nature. So that is also under ungrouped only. So under discrete series, you have two methods. First one is direct method. Next is shortcut method. Okay, under direct method, here you will have the data, something called as x, and for that they will give you a frequency. Now what is a frequency? How many number of times the data has been repeated, that is known as frequency. Now in a class, if I take in your class, if I take how many times Rakshita name is repeated, if it is 2 times, I take it as my frequency is 2, right? Similarly, Pallavi name, how many times it is repeated? 2. So like this, I am the frequency is the number of times one work or one event is going to get repeated. So that will be the frequency. So the first formula will be x bar is equal to sigma fx divided by n. Now what is this fx? Just multiply frequency into x. I'll just choose another color. So sigma fx is multiply these two columns. Once you multiply these two columns, you get something called as fx. Divide that by n. N again will be the total of f. Okay, sigma f is n here. Do not get confused. So that will be your direct method. Then coming to shortcut method, we will be using assumed mean. Okay, here the capital A is nothing but assumed mean. So assumed mean plus sigma fd by n. Now here it's not sigma fx, but it is sigma fd. So d is nothing but the deviations. Now to find the deviations, here we will be considering x, that is this value, minus assumed mean. One thing to note, very, very important one thing to note, assumed mean A should be derived from X. Please make a note of this. Assumed mean should always be derived out of X. For God's sake, many of them have made this mistake in your test. In variety of tests that we solved before also, many of them have considered assumed mean from frequency. Do not do that mistake, because it will change the whole value. The answer will go wrong. Even if you have written the steps, no one will give you marks in examination. So assumed mean is always derived out of X. So you find the deviations x minus a, and that will be your d. So sigma fd by n. So this is your discrete series. Now to the last one, that is continuous series. This is the grouped data. Okay, this is the grouped data. Now this grouped data means you have a very systematic way of presenting the data with class intervals. Okay, you will have class intervals here and you will have frequencies. Class intervals is, it's again a very broader way of representing a data. Now in continuous series you have three methods. First one is direct method, then it is shortcut method, then it is step deviation method. Now in direct method, this direct method and this direct method seems similar. Okay, now how do you get to know which one to apply? For you to understand, first you have to know if it is discrete series or continuous series. If it is discrete series, apply this formula. If it is continuous series, apply this formula. Okay, now how do you know it is discrete or continuous series? I know many of them still have confusion in that. Now if it is discrete series, you will only have x and f given. If it is continuous series, you will have class intervals and f given. Okay, class intervals may be 0 to 10, 10 to 20, like that it will be given. But for x it will be 10, 20, 30, directly one value will be given. Okay, so for direct method under continuous series, you're supposed to calculate using this formula, summation fm by n. Now here m is nothing but midpoint. Okay, m is nothing but midpoint. Now when you have a class interval like this, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, in all these cases you're supposed to find a midpoint. Now how do you find a midpoint? Midpoint is, you have a formula to find a midpoint, that is lower limit of the previous class minus upper limit of the lower limit of the class except the first class minus upper limit of the previous class. Or sorry, one second, hold on. So to find midpoint, you just have to take an average of this. Okay, so that will be 0 plus 10 divided by 2. Okay, 0 plus 10 divided by 2, which will give you 5. So I'm just taking an average of these two numbers. That will be your midpoint. Fine. So that is called as m. So sigma fm by n will give you the direct method arithmetic mean. Now going on to shortcut method, you will have to take assumed mean. Again, assumed mean must be considered from x and not from f. Okay, so assumed mean, again here shortcut method, this both formulas are same. Fine, but the only difference where you will see is this calculation of d. Now in discrete series it is x minus a, in continuous series it is m minus a, that is midpoint minus assumed mean. Okay, so that will give you the d formula, d value here. So and then you can put this formula. Going on to the last formula under continuous series, step deviation method. Again, A is assumed mean. You'll have sigma FD by N, same formula is taken down, but you have to multiply with I. Okay, I is nothing but the difference between these two class intervals. Now here the difference is how much? 10. Again, how much is the difference here? 10 to 20, 10. So your I will become 10. Okay, so this is the very discrete type of confined revision that we are doing only with arithmetic mean. Okay, any doubts in this? You have anywhere you have confusion or any doubts? Everybody understood? Fine. So after this arithmetic mean, now I hope everybody know how to differentiate between individual series, discrete series and continuous series, and do not get confused. I will also share this formula part of the PDF in the group later. Okay, so going on further, after these, okay, after one second, okay, after these values we have hold on. Okay, so after these, we have another set of formulas which we have to learn. Okay, these are very easy concepts under arithmetic mean only. So we have combined mean and we have weighted average mean. Now in combined mean, many of them make mistakes in combined mean. Many of them had made mistakes also before. Now what are those mistakes and how you have to be careful? Firstly, combined mean means when they have given the data of two or more values together. Okay, and combined mean is always denoted by x bar and then 1 2. Okay, so many of them write it as x12. This is completely wrong. This is completely wrong. Don't do this. Fine. So you are supposed to write x bar 1 2 and then followed with the formula. Again with the formula, a big blunder everyone does is n1 x1, n2 x2. You're not taking the data directly. You are considering the arithmetic mean. So which means you have to take x bar 1 and x bar 2. So many tests, even in your notes, many of them have written it in a wrong way to start with x1. So please correct it and be careful even in the examination while writing the formulas, because formulas also contains few marks. So it is x bar 1 and x bar 2. And in the question, do not get confused with the values of n and x bar. Many times people have got confused and they have interchanged the values of n and x. So whenever they have given arithmetic mean, you have considered that as n, and whenever they have given you n value, you have considered that as arithmetic mean. So do not do that mistake. Read through the question thoroughly, see what is given in the question and then solve it. Okay, so that is your combined mean. So this formula is used only when you have two data. If you have more than two data, just go on adding it. Okay, plus n3 x bar 3 plus n4 x bar 4, and also divide by n3 n4. Here you will have to add those values also. Okay, so that's your combined mean. Next, the last concept that we had in arithmetic mean is weighted average. Now weighted average, very easy concept. You will get one question compulsory for 6 marks in weighted average. Okay, so weighted average, how will the questions come? Very easy. They will give you data, they'll directly ask you to calculate simple average and weighted average. And here first I will explain you weighted average and then I will say what are the mistakes that can be done by the students. So weighted average, firstly denotion is x bar w. Okay, then the formula goes sigma or summation wx divided by summation w. They will directly give you weights, they will directly give you x. Okay, so it is something like you were solving fx you were solving before, divided by n, or this is also called as sigma f. Same formula, instead of frequency they are giving you weights. So you just have to replace the frequency with weights, and many of them are getting confused with that. So the only solution for all this confusion is to read the problem very thoroughly. Take a minute to read the problem and then solve it. You will have enough time to write in the examination, but do not waste time. That is also important. Okay, so sigma summation wx by summation w will be your weighted arithmetic mean totally. So this is your weighted average, or this is also called as weighted average or weighted arithmetic mean. Now, what are the possible mistakes that the students do? Firstly, they get confused with simple average and weighted average. Simple average is nothing but just add on every x. See, I will say you. Simple average is sigma x by n, or the number of data. Now let's say suppose you have the 7 subjects marks given. To find simple average, how do you do? Subject 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You take the data, add them up. Now once you add the data, you get it as sigma x. Divide it by number of data. How many subjects you have? 7. Divide it by 7. This is your simple average. What students do is they will go to W, they will add W, and that they will take it down here. That is a mistake. Do not do that. Just add the X values, divide it by the number, how many data you have. Then coming to weighted average, you have weights given directly, multiply that with the X, and then at that time divide by summation W. Clear? Okay, so these are a few mistakes that can be done, probably be done by the students, and you'll have to correct that. And it is very easy to get 6 marks in weighted average problems and also in combined mean problems, unless until you read the question thoroughly and analyze the question thoroughly. Another tip is, in all of these questions, especially in combined mean questions, once before starting the problem, write something called given. Given means you'll have to define all of these things. What is N1? What is N2? What is X bar 1? Sometimes they would have given combined mean. So what is X bar 1, 2? And what are you supposed to find? If you're supposed to find N2, N2 is equal to question mark. If you're supposed to find combined mean, X bar 1, 2 is equal to question mark. Like this, if you define whatever is given in the problem, you will be able to completely understand and solve the problem easily. And remember formulas. Formulas are very, very important, and it is compulsory to be written in every question that you solve. Okay, sometimes if you're lucky enough, they will ask 6 marks and 14 marks repeated questions, not with the numbers, but similar methodology. Okay, I hope that was clear. Any doubts in combined mean and weighted average? Please make note of things as and when I say, because do not repeat those mistakes. I have seen many students doing that. Everybody understood? So if you have any doubt, you can ask me your doubts also. Okay, now let's quickly go through all the problems. I will only go through few of the problems as there is a time constraint. Okay, then if required, we can extend the class with another session continued with this. Fine. So let us see here. Now to start with, we have gone through all the formulas. Fine, I hope this is visible to everybody. Okay, we have gone through all the formulas. Now we'll see one problem in each method. So here, first one, they're asking us the mean marks of 10 students, and they've given us the direct data. Now in this direct data, whichever they have given, you just have to add all these data. Now this is called ungrouped series. They are not grouped under anything. This is numbers, 2-digit numbers given to us, and it is 10 students data. That is the only information. So add all these numbers and divide by the number of data given. So they are given 10 students, so divided by 10. So that will give you the arithmetic mean. Many times in the question paper, you can check one question in 2 marks. Okay, sometimes they'll give this in 2 marks. Then, so if you have point, again the same methodology has been used. Now coming on to discrete series. So discrete series, you will have marks and you'll have number of students. Okay, so marks, that will be given to you. So this will be X and number of students is F. So that is 20 is being repeated for 2 students. Now you all write a test, and I make out of all the numbers I get, I make a discrete series. So 2 students have scored 20, 5 students have scored 30, 8 have scored 40. That is the meaning of frequency, the number of students that have scored that particular marks or repetitions that has been done. Now, how to solve this problem? Now, going on further, you just, and one more very, very important thing, every problem solution must have a heading, compulsory. because many students will just go on and solve the problem. You yourself will not be knowing what you're solving. So read the question. In the question they would have asked to find average marks, or they would have asked you to find arithmetic mean, combined mean, weighted mean. Give that heading clearly. So calculation of average marks in maths. Okay, once you give the heading, whatever you understand from the question, give that heading. Then come down. You need not beautify your answer sheets completely. First, solve the problem with basic lines. Okay, you just have to draw these basic lines and first finish the problem. Then at the end, if you have time, you can beautify your answer sheets. Okay, so here we have taken x values, f values, and once you add up all the frequency, you get the total called as n. Then x into f, just multiply these two columns, you get fx. So that once you add fx, you get sigma fx. Then apply the formula. Sigma fx divided by n. You have all the data. Sigma fx is 2650, n is 50. So you get x bar being 53. And one more important is conclusions. Every problem should have a heading for the table, conclusion at the end of the answer after solving. And whenever you have solved the final answer like this, put a circle or a rectangle around it. Highlight the answer. Since it is digital evaluation or any sort of evaluation that they do, when there are so many numbers, evaluators will not be able to find the final answers easily. So always highlight the final answers only. Don't sit and highlight everything. Only final answers. You'll just have to draw a box around it and give a conclusion. What is that talking about? X bar 53 is an average. Now, average marks in maths is 53. So give a proper conclusion. So that is your discrete series. And this is another problem. And this problem is being repeated 2 to 3 times in the examination. So please practice this problem. Many of them have got confused in the test when I gave this and they have not solved it properly. Okay, so read the question thoroughly. Now they've given us days and rainfall. So this is not X. This is just a random information. So the X, what you're supposed to take is rainfall. These numbers are X. And they are saying there are 5 Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 4 Sundays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Calculate the daily average rainfall. Okay, so here you will have to just write down this information of days for your reference. Then copy down the rainfall below. Then frequency, be careful here. There are 5 Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So for Monday it is 5, Tuesday and Wednesday it is 5. Then going on further, 4 Sundays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. So 4 Sundays, 4 Thursdays, 4 Fridays and 4 Saturdays. Okay, this part many of them have done wrong in the test, especially because many of them have taken 5, 5, 5 and then 4, 4, 4. So many of them did not know what to do and how to solve. But this problem, same problem, maybe these marks numbers have been changed, but this has been repeated in your 6 marks, especially for BCom. It has been repeated for 6 marks 2 to 3 times in the question paper. Okay, so now once you've derived the frequencies, multiply x into f to get fx and solve the problem. And if it is problems like this where you know the unit value, now you know the unit here, rainfall in millimeter, mm, then in the final answer, kindly put that unit. If you know only, you will have to put. If you do not know, just write x bar is equal to and write the answer. That is enough. Okay, and conclusion is important. So 70.74 millimeter per day is the rainfall for a month. Okay, so that is your first two. That is the discrete series direct method. Now going on to shortcut method. Shortcut method, you have this formula. Now let us see how to do the shortcut method. Now in shortcut method, you'll have x and f given directly. Now you'll have to find out the deviations. Now to find the deviations, you have to consider assumed mean. Assumed mean must be considered from x, that is the data given to us. Do not I'm repeating over and again, do not take it from frequency. It has to be taken from X. And in this problem, we have taken 500 as the assumed mean. Usually take the central value, that is easy for everybody to understand. If not, you can take any number out of X here. So that will be your calculation. Now, to find the deviations, it is X minus the assumed mean, that is 500. You will get minus values as well as plus values. Be careful with that, minus as well as plus, and then calculate the deviations. Once you find the deviations, multiply this D into the F, that is frequency into deviations. 20 into minus 300, 25 into minus 200. So that will give you DF values. Now, once you add up everything, you will get summation FD. And in the problem, somewhere either in the starting of the problem or while applying the formula, just write what is the assumed mean that is considered. Okay, just write what is the assumed mean that is considered. Now, going on further, we have just applied the formula, that is assumed mean 500 plus sigma FD is minus 7400 divided by 155. 155 is the total of frequency. Then, and we have simplified that to get X bar. Okay, so the X bar or the arithmetic mean is 452.26. Fine. So that is your shortcut method. Now, when you have data like this, a little bigger data like this, you can use all the numbers and calculate, or you can take out 3 zeros and also calculate. That is also possible. Okay. So that is until your discrete series. Any doubts until discrete series in any problem? Are you able to follow? I may have to continue one more session once I finish this. I'll finish the continuous series and I will send another link for you to join once again. Okay. Okay. Now let's go on to continuous series quickly. Now, continuous series is a grouped data. Now, group data means it is very, very systematic. You will have class intervals given and you will have frequency given. So the marks between 0 to 10 is repeated 5 times. So it's on a broader sense where you will be considering the marks and the frequencies. So here, write down, copy down this as it is. Now in a continuous series, we have solved all the 3 methods in one problem only. Okay, so let us see that. So first one is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and so on. And you have the frequencies. Now, whenever you see a class interval, you will have to calculate midpoint. So midpoint is compulsory to be calculated when you see class intervals only. Okay, don't go and calculate midpoints for discrete series. So when you see a class interval, just take an average of it. That is 0 plus 10 by 2, 10 plus 20 by 2, 30, 20 plus 30 by 2. So that will give you an average. That is your midpoint. So 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So likewise, you will find the midpoint. Later, once you find the midpoint, now midpoint will become your X. Okay, now midpoint will become your X. So you have to multiply frequency into midpoint. So that is why it is called as FM, F into M. Then once you multiply these 2 columns and add them up, you get sigma FM. Okay, so once you get this total value, then you will have to apply the formula. Now here, for the calculation of midpoint, since it is the first problem, we have solved it completely. It is good if you solve like this even in examination, because you'll get full marks. Midpoint is equal to lower limit of the class plus upper limit of the class by 2. So you will get all these values. Then apply the formula. X bar is equal to sigma FM by N, which is X bar is equal to 2350 by 70. So X bar is equal to 33.57. So the under direct method, the average or arithmetic mean is 33.57 for this problem. Then going on to shortcut method, you will have to calculate the deviations. Now before calculation of deviations, you have to recognize a assumed mean or consider one as assumed mean. Now again here, do not consider assumed mean from X or the class interval. This also many of them have done wrong and they've got stuck. So do not go and consider 20 to 30 as assumed mean. You cannot do the calculations here. Now, when it is continuous series, assumed mean must be taken from midpoint. Now, if you see here, we have taken 35 as assumed mean, right? So, in this problems, many of them had got confused before during test, and many students have gone wrong in this by either taking a class interval or taking from a frequency. Both you should not consider. Take it from a midpoint in a continuous series. So, finding deviations. After finding deviations, once you find out the deviations, again here many of them got confused and they did mistake was multiplying deviations with midpoint. Do not multiply these two. You are supposed to multiply deviation and frequency. Okay, this column and this column are supposed to be multiplied. Then only you get FD. Fine. So once you do this, then you will have to just a second. Then you will have to go on further. Write assumed mean as 35. Apply the formula and get X bar. You will get same answer again. Okay. So next, going on to step deviation method. That will be again here, since it is a class interval, find out midpoint. Now here, finding out the deviation, the formula is different in step deviation. Okay, D is M minus A by I. Okay, D is equal to M minus A divided by I. I is the class interval. That is the difference between these two. So once you find the deviations here, then multiply deviations into frequency. Okay, multiply deviations into frequency for you to get sigma FD. Now, after getting sigma FD, later you are supposed to put the formula, that is assume mean 35, and then here you have calculated deviations. Okay, and then you have to apply the complete formula and find the X bar. So that will be your arithmetic mean. Okay, so this is your continuous series. Any doubts in this quickly? We still have 2 more concepts. I will again send the link for, please join again.